Horizon Chance, Home Reacts, and this is India strikes Pakistan. Yeah, so this happened 24 hours ago at 1:44 a.m. Indian time. I was up at that time. I'm a vampire who stays up at night, apparently. Yeah, because a lot of time I have to make videos. Most of my viewers are Americans and then Europeans, but mostly Americans. There's a 12-hour gap. And I know people are thinking like, but why can't you just make video in advance and post it? No, a lot of time like I have to post videos. There is something happening now. Yeah, I've been making less and less type of videos like that in past multiple months, and I guess my channel has suffered for that. But it's sometimes hard to keep up with shit, right? But yeah, it's sometimes I just stay up at night for a lot of other reasons as well, and also it's like peaceful at night. Can do a lot of work. But yes, I remember like staying up and suddenly news broke. A lot of defense ministers just basically gave this message Jai Hind, and I'm like, what is happening? Then I saw the live feeds, and yeah, India did the surgical strikes on Pakistan. And I was up like, oh shit, here we go again, right? I don't know what was the extent at the time where how India is doing this. India is attacking Pakistan military, or is it like attacking militant groups like it has been doing in past multiple years? Did it in 2019 and many other times. So it was the surgical strike thing. Obviously, Pakistan gonna spin it like, oh wait a minute, this was civilians, and like you can't really detail about that anything. But there is a reality that the terror group that was responsible for this, the same terror group that was responsible for Mumbai attacks, held a lot of funerals for their people. Let's just say Pakistan military attended that. Isn't that something? Pakistan says they have nothing to do with that, but they somehow attended that. That is some next level shit. I'm pretty sure there's a video about it. As you can see this in this clear show where the terror group's basically leader, one of the leaders, is holding this funeral for terrorists, and the Pakistani military is there. It's like you're not even trying to hide, man. You see, we are in this weird world where social media has made things such a way that people can just scream fake news and people just don't care. Both sides, obviously, basically is doing some kind of like a cyber warfare with bots and even the people who just like blaming both sides, right? I saw Enforcer's live feed, emergency live feed, and yeah, that's it was a really Enforcer's really good channel. I like how he just like can find news, which was like interesting, like how things were moving, right? And yeah, he pointed out like how India and Pakistan is like the most intense people he's seen. How they were like at each other's throat. He's never seen something like that. But yeah, you need to realize combined they're both 1.7 billion people. Just by statistic, there's going to be a lot of trolls there who can troll. And not to mention, this is a cyber warfare in a way of misinformation. This part of war. A lot of them are going to be bots. So you can't really just say, oh, India, Pakistan, they're just like, oh, that's so rural and so medieval type of like uneducated people. They're fighting each other's throats. That's not how it is. Like the scale is different. In the same feed, they show like how some Rafales were shot down, and like Enforcer saw like, oh, this is concerning, which means this is bad news for India. No, it's not. It was surprising to me someone like Enforcer can't see through this. This was a surgical strike where India's hands were tied, where India just gonna strike certain militant groups. That's it. India's not gonna strike anything military. If you're gonna attack a place, you first take out anti-air defenses, and then you measure air dominance. Rafale is not a fifth generation plane, it's a fourth generation plane. If you're not going to destroy an anti-air defenses, which they didn't, they didn't want to attack Pakistani military, of course Rafale's going to get shot down. It's not even a surprise to me. I'm surprised Enforcer didn't see that. A lot of people in the comment like, oh, I've served with Pakistani people, like you can't really, India can't win. Are you people understand? India and Pakistan is not the same. Like I still don't understand how people have this not basic information. Just by any number, India have twice as things that Pakistan has. India has twice as army, twice as ships. India has aircraft carriers that Pakistan doesn't. India has ICBM called Agni 5, their own ICBM. Pakistan does not. India have nuclear triad. Pakistan does not. India has an Iron Dome of its own that can stop a lot of ballistic missile like Akash and a lot of like their own systems. S-400 from Russia might not be the best in the world, but it works against something like Pakistani things. It's not the same thing, and you're forgetting one thing. It doesn't matter how many Rafales were shot down. That's common sense. We already covered that in Ukraine-Russia thing, where a simple Amazon drone can take out a costly tank. A basic air defense system with modern technology and modern chipset can target something like Rafale. That's why you take out those defenses first. India wasn't going to do that. So Rafale getting shot down is not a surprise. And there is no proof of that, by the way. But I'm saying even if it did, it's fourth generation plane. This is not F-35, right? India doesn't have fifth generation plane, right? So, that's not a surprise. What's surprising is India hit all the targets. India used Scalp missile, cruise missiles. British is a French one, a stealth cruise missile. India used Hammer, which is, I think, is a guided bomb or something, right? India used these French things. There's also a shift. This time, India used European tech, not a Soviet tech in that way. They probably used Su-30s there as well. I'm pretty sure if the planes were shot down, it's going to be Su-30s. They're not going to risk Rafale there. So I don't know about Rafale. People are just saying Rafale and India is going with it. Pretty sure the information is going to come out that there was no Rafale involved, because why would you Rafale? You don't need to, especially when the threat is high. Pakistan knew about India's attack 2 weeks in advance. They were preparing for it. They were at the border. Of course, planes were going to get shot down. So they're going to use Su-30s, I think, not Rafales, but we'll see. So this whole thing about like, oh, by the way, and also in the Enforcer stream, the feel I got from Enforcer and everybody, and I'm not saying Enforcer is biased, like I'm the last person going to say that. I love watching that channel, right? And I love how he's staying unbiased and making jokes of both sides. But the reality is, India has had enough. Pakistan and Pakistan-backed groups that even USA and CIA knows that Pakistan is backing these groups. This is not just India saying. Even UN knows that, and UN try to pressure Pakistan at whatever level they can. UN doesn't have much power nowadays. Whatever level, like you doing this. Like I just saw the photo of you. They are actually attending the funeral. So this is not some both sides are. This is not some land dispute that both sides are fighting and both equally are wrong. India is right in this one. India is trying to defend its sovereignty. Terrorist group backed by Pakistan military came into India and killed civilians. Last time you had a terror attack, 9/11, you invaded Iraq. Even though Saudi Arabians attacked, US and not the Iraqis. So India doing this, you can't really condemn that. You can't really, this is India, Pakistan, both are equal. No, they are not. And the fucked up thing about it is that because of the social media and misinformation, India and Pakistan, both media, both side of people, are in their own mind. India believes, but nothing happened, no planes were shot down perfectly, which even I don't believe, like I highly doubt that. Pakistan still believes, and their people still believes, we shot down 5 planes, so okay, India lost. India struck the target they wanted to do. Planes don't matter. There are 80 Rafale planes, 300 Su-30s. They don't care. They'll buy another one. India's economy is doing great. It's 4th economy in the world. Pakistan is not even in top 10. Pakistan like, we are the right one. Your backed militant groups did the terror attack. How the fuck can you justify that? But people are justifying that. Common people in Pakistan are justifying that. I'm not blaming the people. All people can't be evil. I think it's social media and misinformation and propagandas. This is a fucked up part of our modern times. People won't even know that their side is wrong. You can draw lines about anything, but the reality is, core part is, Pakistan-backed militant groups are constantly doing terror attacks, and India had enough. I think they should have done this after the Mumbai attack long ago, not now. India dragged it out all this time. It's a surprise in itself. So what's the point of this rant? I wanted to clear a lot of things, what is happening, right? I didn't make video yesterday because I was looking where this is going, because I was afraid India's going to attack Pakistan military. So I'm not going to lie, I would have think that kind of makes sense, even to me. But India didn't even do that. India restrained themselves. How are you going to blame India after that? Right? And Pakistan saying, by the way, it was civilian attacks, we are going to attack India now. They're artillery firing into civilian areas, not military areas. Civilian areas in India-occupied Kashmir. You say you want Kashmir and you're going to attack Kashmiri people? What is your logic here? Right? And they're saying they're going to do cruise. First of all, India has an Iron Dome of itself. It would be stupid to attack India in that way. I'm not saying the missiles won't hit this target. Half of them at least won't. Maybe it won't intercept 99%, 50-60% is probably not going to hit any target. All of our missiles hit the target. India and Pakistan is not the same. Pakistan is barely surviving. Their economy sucks. They're not even in top 10. Just because you have some Chinese goodies doesn't mean you can sustain a war. If war drags down, India can just increase the wartime productions. You can't do that. You're in debt. Nobody has taken more bank loans and IF bailouts than Pakistan, than any country in the world. You can't compare to India. India's 4th economy in the world. It's going to be 3rd in 2 years across Japan. India is spending 4th highest military budget behind Russia, China, and USA. That's it. Of near 200 countries, India is the 4th number when it comes to defense budget. you can't just say, oh, we have Chinese equipment. And China is like barely saying, okay, we don't like both of these things. There needs to be agreement. They're not trying to pressure India because even they know like Pakistan did the terror shit. It's not the best time to antagonize India. Even Trump is like, okay, I knew this was happening. I hope both sides just figure it out. Nobody's trying to pressure anyone. US is historically always in Pakistan's side. Even US is now not pressuring India like, okay, chill down. So I don't know. I just wanted to clear things because sometimes it becomes frustrated when you feel this from Western side. Well, oh, Pakistan, India, both are at fault, both are equal. Oh, look, they're fighting. Like this kind of a dismissive. Oh, small people are fighting. I never believed the Western bias, but I'm seeing it more and more nowadays. If shit like this happened to you, you would invade a country you did in the past. How are you gonna blame India? So let's voice one.
Is brought to you by Ground News. India has launched missile strikes against targets in Pakistan and Pakistani-controlled Kashmir, a move that Pakistan has described as an act of war. Meanwhile, Pakistan claims to have shot down Indian fighter jets in retaliation and has fired shells across the de facto border in the disputed Kashmir region. This latest fighting in the long-running conflict between the two nuclear-armed neighbours comes amid soaring tensions in the aftermath of a deadly terror attack in Indian-administered Kashmir.
At least there's a terror attack this time.
That India blames Pakistan for backing. So in this video, we're going to explain these latest dramatic developments and look at the risk that the fresh clashes could escalate into a wider conflict.
How is that a Rafale plane? That feels like a drone. Rafale plane wreckage is not like that. I'm not saying Rafale was not shot down, but there's no concrete proof yet. That would be really stupid for India to risk Rafale when they know they can't take out air defenses because they can't attack Pakistani military. If Rafale were used, yeah, Rafale was shot down. It's a 4th-gen plane. Even 5th-gen plane would have a hard time because their hands were tied. They can't attack anti-air defenses.
Do you have questions about TLDR's bias? Watch us respond to your criticisms in our dedicated criticism response video. It's linked in the description.
You're not biased, but maybe don't call them gunmen and call them terrorists. Maybe when your whole American and European stance is, oh, these are terrorists, maybe flag people who are actually terrorists, not the people who only affect you. Only people who affect you, they are terrorists. People who affect India, maybe they're just gunmen. Don't do that shit.
We'll get on to India's airstrikes and Pakistan's response shortly, but first we're going to explain the background to the recent escalation in tensions. Last month, on the 22nd of April, at least 26 people, mostly Hindu Indian tourists, were killed in a terror attack.
25 were Hindu, I think. Only one was Christian.
Near Pahalgam, a popular travel destination in Indian-administered Kashmir. The attack rocked India, not just because of the high death toll, but also because it targeted civilian tourists rather than security forces. In fact, the region's chief minister said the attack was, quote, much larger than anything we've seen directed at civilians in recent years.
Yeah, because it was. Previous attack in 2019 was at military. Still people, but military, at least you attacked military, which still pisses me off. These are the people trying to defend my country while leaving their home, and you're going to attack them, but they're not civilians. Now you come after civilians. It's like, what's next? Just try to put terror cells here, trying to bomb some cities. That shit doesn't fly in India. It's the 4th biggest economy. I can't stress that enough. People have this misconception of what India is. Come here, walk around cities, you realize where India is. India has a lot of disparity. One of the most poorest places and one of the most richest places. The biggest and most costliest house on the world is in India, Mumbai. But the 3rd richest guy on the planet. The 4th richest guy and 3rd richest guy are both in India. Do you understand the element here?
Years, and the Indian government vowed a loud and clear response to those behind the attack. Now, exactly who was behind the attack remains unclear. Initially, a relatively little-known Kashmiri separatist group called the Resistance Front, or TRF.
See what I'm talking about? Little known. They're not little known. They're known by CIA. They're known by RAW. They've been doing terror attacks on Kashmir for 5 years. This broke the camel's back. This is not the only thing that happened. But this broke the camel's back, and they've been doing this shit. They are behind Mumbai attack.
Apparently claimed responsibility online. India considers TRF to be an offshoot of or front for the Pakistan-based militant group Lashkar-e-Taiba, which seeks to bring Indian-administered Kashmir under Pakistani control and was responsible for the 2008 Mumbai attacks that killed 175 people. However, according to
if someone attacked your Washington house directly, Washington, D.C., not by planes, directly with people, you would not call them terrorists. You'd never remove them from terrorists, ever, even if you wipe them out. All right? And you know, this operation was called Sindoor. Do you know what Sindoor is? Sindoor is symbol of marriage. A woman wears it. Because in this incident, a terrorist killed a woman's husband there. A woman told him, like, kill me too. Like, this is the level of shit we are. Imagine the psychology here. And that guy laughed and said, call your Prime Minister Modi. This is the shit intensified. So it's also about the people, but it's about how it was done. Like I said, when this shit happened, like, what is this, Die Hard? No, shit like this doesn't happen in any country, anywhere. It's something either too unstable and too many militant war happens, or stable enough where nothing happens. This type of shit happening in India to Indian military, response, I'm surprised response took this 10-15 days at all. I'm surprised that India was restrained. If Putin was in charge, which I'm not saying is good, but if Putin was in charge, shit would have done really bad by now. India has that kind of power. All Pakistani people have to say, oh, by the way, we shot for a false down. Okay, so what? There's a lot of logistics happening. There's a lot of like tactics that are happening. We couldn't take out your systems because we didn't want to attack military directly. But if that shit happens, there's not going to be news of Rafale getting shot down. There will be news completely different. Agni 5s will be used. Those are ICBMs. You don't have that shit.
To more recent news reports, TRF has since retracted its claim of responsibility, apparently saying its earlier statement was the result of a cyber intrusion of some kind. Regardless, India has firmly pointed the finger of blame for the attack at Pakistan.
My Twitter account was hacked. Really? Fuck you. Fuck you. Right? I don't know what they thought. They thought, oh, this 26 people is just fine. India's not going to cause war because of this. This is not Syria. This is India. India doesn't have terrorist cells. India is different. India and Pakistan border is the border against terrorism. You don't do shit like this inside India.
Accusing the Pakistani government of supporting cross-border terrorism, a charge that Pakistan flatly denies. As such, India announced a slew of measures against Pakistan, including downgrading diplomatic ties, cancelling visas, shutting the main border crossing, expelling diplomats, and perhaps most notably, suspending the 1960 Indus Waters Treaty, a long-standing agreement that regulates the sharing of water from the Indus River and its tributaries, which is crucial for things like agricultural irrigation and hydropower in Pakistan. In retaliation, Pakistan announced its own diplomatic and economic measures. But the big question was whether or not India would launch military action against Pakistan. And this week, that question was answered. Early in the morning of Wednesday the 7th.
1:44 a.m. Even like I said, I was up, right? Yeah, this is just insane scenario all around. What I still don't understand is like there is no remorse. I'm not saying direct, even indirect remorse from Pakistani side. They're still like puffing their chest and like, oh, we are right. Even the people are doing that. Oh, we'll keep the tea ready for you. Come here, like trying to this like smugly, trying to like flex. This is like what if Mexico smugly flex against USA? India and Pakistan is not the same thing. I don't get where you don't have economy. You're taking money from international banks just to like survive. You can't fight India. When is this going to sink into? Like people are at that level that they don't even understand that. This is the Brexit shit, right? Like Brexit happened, be like, oh, Brexit. And then later on people are like, I didn't know Brexit is going to be like that. This is the basic thing. How you fucking didn't know that? And since then, I always had this mentality like common people don't know shit about anything. And I think Pakistani people really don't understand like where their economy is, how their military is working. And doesn't matter how great goodies they got from China, they can't sustain that. And China is not keep going to supply them. They don't have much domestically made shit. It's like barely anything. India has a lot of domestic made thing. Crucial defensive things that India can use. India doesn't need to rely on anyone. Pakistan doesn't. All India has to do is threaten China. If a war happens like Ukraine, Russia, like don't supply or I have to like attack you. China is not going to risk a nuclear war against India for Pakistan. What is Pakistan going to do then? You don't have shit. You rely on China. You don't even have money to pay China.
Of May, over the course of about 25 minutes, India carried out Operation Sindoor, striking targets in Pakistani-controlled Kashmir and Pakistan's Punjab province. The Indian military said it had struck 9 locations, which it described as sites of terrorist infrastructure
All of them were
associated with the
hit.
Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba military.
Not a single Chinese defense system fucking worked. And they're flexing there, took out Rafale. So basic anti-air defense can take out Rafale. At least in that, even in Enforcer video, I'm surprised, like in Ukraine, in Russia, like there was no plane shot. And in 3 hours, they shot down this many Rafale. That's concerning. It's not the same geography, not the same type of people. Look at the condensed amount of people. Look at the military number. Pakistan is not Ukraine. They are broke, but they still have military to try to fight against India. Pakistan is not Ukraine. And in Ukraine, Russia is just like spread out. It's like open grounds. And it's just point blank war. Like they can target anti-defense systems. India can't do that. It's in a hill area, very congested. It's different. Of course, they took out 3-4 planes. It's not that hard to understand. But if the war stretches out, and India realizes, oh, fuck it, now we have to fight back against military. Yeah, they're going to take out with a lot of different type of missiles, take out our defenses, and then provide air dominance. Then there's not going to be news of Rafale getting shot down. Rafale is not 5th gen. They can't survive against anti-air defenses.
Militant groups, adding that no Pakistani military, civilian or economic facilities were targeted. The Indian government called the strikes preemptive and precautionary, saying that Pakistan had failed to take action against terrorist infrastructure on its territory. Pakistan, however, says that these were not terrorist sites,
Of course,
and that civilians and mosques were hit across 6 locations targeted by India. According to Pakistani authorities, at least 26 civilians were killed by the strikes and 46 injured.
All of them, majority of them, are terrorists. Like I just saw the photo where the terrorist group were holding funerals. There was a leader of the terrorist group. Pakistani army was there. You saw that Pakistani army with like proper uniform and shit. Make up your own mind from that, like who to believe. This is not like gray areas like who to believe. This is why it pisses me off. Like people are like, oh, India and Pakistan, I'm not going to take side of either way. What the fuck do you mean? One is like terrorist-funded place that is attacking India, and one is trying to defend its sovereignty. India is the 4th powerful country in the world. If they're not going to defend themselves, what does the message that sends? Like India is weak? This is not the equal fight. This is not like morally equal fight. This is very easy to say, oh, Pakistan had wrong. Pakistan should have cooperated with India, right? Even if Pakistan is at fault, like they should have still cooperated with India and like try to slowly walk away. They can't really admit that they're funding the terrorist organizations, sure. But they shouldn't have escalated. They should have said like, okay, we're going to help you fight this terrorist cell. They didn't even do that. What the fuck India is going to do?
One strike, for example, hit Subhan Mosque in the Pakistani city of Bahawalpur. The Associated Press writes that the mosque is known to hide inside mosques. Once the central office of the Jaish-e-Mohammed group, which Pakistani officials say have not had an operational presence at the site since the group was outlawed in 2002.
Trust me, bro. Trust me.
Jaish-e-Mohammed said on Wednesday that 10 family members of its leader had been killed in the strike. Pakistan calls the strike unprovoked, and Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif said Pakistan has...
That guy killed 6 civilians. That terrorist guy killed 26 civilians. You just admitted, and he admitted, that 10 family members who died in this, like missile attack, and you're still going to say it's unprovoked. In which universe? Your terrorist guy is saying like their family member was killed in the surgical strike. Surgical strike were accurate. They did the terror attack. So what is the unprovoked thing? It's like you're just going to use any words. Oh, by the way, no, there's nothing like, this is unprovoked. Okay, we have means to attack India now. Okay, try that shit. Try that shit, see what happens. India has air defenses, 3 layers of Iron Dome air defenses against ballistic missiles and everything. You don't have that.
Every right to give robust response to this act of war imposed by India, and a strong response is indeed being given. According to Indian authorities, at least 10 civilians have been killed and 48 injured by Pakistani shelling across the line of control,
random shelling at
which
civilians.
is the de facto border between Pakistani-administered and Indian-administered Kashmir. By Wednesday morning,
India is trying to play by the rules. Okay, we can't initiate wars against Pakistan, so we're just going to attack terrorist cells. Our hands are tied. Pakistan, like, fuck it, I'm going to respond by not even attacking Indian military, but Indian random civilian places. It's like one side can just break all the rules and do all the shit, fund terrorist groups and just say, oh, we didn't do that, try to play victim. India has to play by the rules. This is the shit we are working at.
Pakistan had also claimed to have shot down 5 Indian fighter jets, including several French-made Rafale, the pride of the Indian Air Force.
Okay, as follow the Enforcer, link and other ones. They first say 5 Rafales. Then they say, wait a minute, only 2 of them are Rafale. One was drone and one was some MiG or something. So it was never 5 Rafales. Indian military didn't release any statement that says 5 Rafale. Now, I'm not saying there was no Rafale shot down. Why would India put that statement out yet? They're going to do that in the future. India is not some dictatorship. They'll give the news. Rafale is not a homemade. It doesn't damage India's reputation. It's a French plane. Okay, it was shot down. So what? It's a 4th-gen plane. Of course, it was shot down. But okay, oh, by the way, we shot down 5 Rafale. Yeah, what does that prove? They have 80 of them. They can just call France. Okay, here's some money. Give me 10 more. India has money.
Now, this claim is unverified, and the Indian government has not commented on it. However, according to Reuters, local government sources in Indian-administered Kashmir said 3 fighter jets had crashed in the territory, and footage of crash sites and debris from unidentified aircraft have been going round online. So, what might happen next? We're going to look at 2 contrasting potential outcomes. The first is that violence is limited and things don't escalate. The second, however, would see an escalation in a broader military conflict. Let's look at the first potential outcome. In this non-escalatory scenario, Pakistan would likely respond with its own retaliatory targeted strikes, and diplomacy would ultimately win out as both sides end up satisfied that they've defended their honour sufficiently and recognise that a wider conflict is not in their interest. In fact, this is sort of what happened with the last major clash between...
Yeah. Look, man, India has to show that it's a global power now. Pakistan is not a global power. If Pakistan damages India more, India will retaliate. India will say like, oh, you are the one who started this. We are not going to be the ones stopping like that. And people are not going to be satisfied with that either. So Pakistan do decide to do missile strikes. Yeah, India is responding, but this time it will be responding against military calculated response. Pakistan can't handle that shit. That will be really bad wake-up call. Right? India is not USA. India doesn't have power of USA. But Pakistan is nothing like USA. We don't need to be USA level. We need to be at the 4th powerful country in the world, which we are. Pakistan not even in top 10. You can't just buy shit from China. Just suddenly because some Taliban or like someone in Syria suddenly takes best planes and like best things in the world, China or something. They're not suddenly going to become like world power. They're still going to get their ass kicked. Pakistan slightly powerful, but not at the Indian level right now. Even in the past when India was weak and Pakistan was strong, India still kicked ass against Pakistan. Pakistan has never won against India. Not a single war. Every single one of them India won. Now India is really powerful compared to Pakistan. India's economy is doing great while Pakistan is collapsing. This is the moment they think, oh, by the way, we're going to win. How? India can just like, fuck it, let's just do it. There was just now. There were like drills here, right? Military drills. Where like, if the siren happens, you should do this, you should do that. That shit has never happened. Like, if you remember, if you're one of my old viewers, you remember like, me talking about like, I can't even imagine that because that shit has never happened. That thing doesn't happen in India. India is that serious right now. They're doing this kind of drills. This is not a moment to fuck around.
India and Pakistan back in 2019. A Pakistan-based militant group carried out an attack in Indian-administered Kashmir. India blamed Pakistan and launched a retaliatory airstrike on what it said was a terrorist training camp in Pakistan. Pakistan then struck India and shot down an Indian...
Here's the weird part. When a European or Americans attack ISIS or anyone, they don't say, oh, Americans said this is an ISIS base. They just say this is an ISIS base. If Europeans do that, oh, this is just an ISIS base, this is a Taliban base. When India does it, oh, India says it. Yeah, Western bias is too heavy. Oh, those Indians, like, okay, they're just like, who are they? They're just saying that. This kind of pisses me off, man. Like, all right, India is a top 5 country. Give some fucking respect. India is a democracy. It's not some dictatorship. Pakistan's main military guy, who basically has the most power in Pakistan, basically says that our whole military is basically run by Quran. Quran runs our country. Like, are you kidding me? That is your doctrine? Like what our religion will say, we do it, right? And people are going to, oh, India and Pakistan, they're the same. India doesn't go about like, oh, here's a Bhagavad Gita. Oh, we're going to run by this. If Bhagavad Gita says we're going to do something, we're just going to do it because God said that to us. India doesn't do that. Like how are you comparing them? Like, this is not the same thing.
Fighter jet during a dogfight, capturing the pilot before releasing him a few days later. The temperature cooled and things were largely settled a month after the initial attack. So, analysts note that the tit-for-tat actions and entrenched narratives are not an unfamiliar pattern. and some have suggested that talks over the Indus Waters Treaty, which India has previously unsuccessfully called for a renegotiation of, could provide an off-ramp for the current clashes. However, we shouldn't discount the risk of an escalation, and it's possible that the anger in each country towards the other is greater this.
Are you fucking kidding? See, again, what I'm talking about, like, oh, both countries have the similar anger. Both countries. It's not the similar situation. India is pissed off right now because Pakistan-backed militants did terrorist attack in India, and India is responding. Pakistan is pissed because water stopped, but because you did that shit. If the roles were reversed, if this was America, would you say the same thing? If this was France or Germany, would you say the same thing? Oh, both are pissed off. Really?
This time round. For example, it's worth remembering that the terror attack that fueled today's tensions targeted Indian civilians rather than security personnel. Additionally, despite India saying its military action was focused, measured and non-escalatory, the scale of its airstrikes on Wednesday was far greater than what we saw in 2019. So analysts note that the Pakistani military may be inclined to carry out a sizable response. Plus, the reported death toll from Wednesday's strikes and shelling by both countries is already higher than in 2019. Any military escalation, even a non-nuclear one, would have significant consequences.
Every single talk of Western side is like, oh, both sides need to chill down, or both are nuclear power. So, okay, both are nuclear power, so Pakistan can just do terror attacks on India. Pakistan just say like, okay, we are just gonna, we are fanatics, right? We have this weird ideology in our head and we're just gonna attack Hindus point blank and shoot them with a flax and just say like, oh, tell your prime minister this and that, without any fear of Indian retaliation and Indian sovereignty. And just because Pakistan has nuked, India shouldn't do anything. This is like one of those media biases that pisses me off, right? This shit would not be the same if it was like any Western countries, but because it's India, oh, both sides have nuclear power, both sides need to calm down. It's not an equal thing. Pakistan shit the bed. India's pissed. It was a last straw. This is not the only thing that triggered this. Past 5-6 years shit like this is happening and this was too much. Not to mention already like the same group that did the Mumbai attack was involved. I mean, you can't make this shit up. So, okay, both need to calm the fuck down. Okay, how about you Western countries call Pakistan and pressure them to apologize and calm the fuck down? Why would India back down?
Consequences, with the people of Kashmir bearing the brunt of it, but with reverberations that would be felt across the neighbourhood and wider world. Ultimately, we'll have to wait and see. And needless to say, de-escalation is the outcome that basically the whole world wants. It is, after all, in nobody's interest for a full-on conflict to erupt between two neighbouring nuclear powers, and as such, China, Russia, the US, UN, European countries and others have urged restraint and called for a peaceful resolution. This is a complex and...
Yeah. India doesn't need anyone's help, first of all, right? People are like, oh, and even in the enforcer stream, oh, who's going to help out? Is US going to help out? We don't need help. India's at the level, we don't need anyone's help. Pakistan might need help. We don't need help, right? And India's not going to listen to anyone either. India doesn't want war. India's economy is like booming. India's economy is growing. India is the last country in the world who wants war. India has always been pacifist. Like it doesn't attack first until shit like this happens. So it's really weird to calm down India. India's always been calmed down. How about address shit in Pakistan? Right? Address shit like how their military has a government. They don't even have a stable fucking government. A military basically says our Quran says this, so we're going to do that. Or by the way, we are going to fund this terrorist organization. Just say, oh, we didn't do it. Like we are stupid here. Like there is no intelligence against this. Like your military people don't attend the funeral of these terrorist people. Are you fucking kidding me? West gave nukes to Pakistan. How about you deal with it? How about you pressure them to apologize? Increase the pressure there. And so tell Pakistan to stop flexing too much. It's your fucking fault. It's not the equal thing. India and Pakistan is not the equal thing. Both need to calm down. India has to protect its sovereignty. It's top 5 country in the world. It's a global power. India has to show that. Otherwise, China gets idea. Like, let's attack Arunachal Pradesh. What India is going to do then? All right, I guess I'll see you next time.